Hey parents, hey students, hope you all are well. We're just getting ready to kick back off with Faith Foundations for the fall this Sunday, August 8th at 10 a.m. And I just wanted to give you all a little picture of what's happening in the youth ministry. So we'll start with our 7th to 10th graders. We'll actually be continuing this study, which we started beginning of this year in January. It's Unfolding Grace. What this resource does such a good job of is it gives a kind of an overview. This is where we are in the scripture, and then we proceed to read 2 chapters. We'll take it 2 chapters. This often does 3 or 4 chapters at a time. We'll look at just 2 chapters and be seeing how God is at work, kind of big picture in the story. Instead of looking at the stories as, here's Adam and Eve, and then eventually you get Jacob, and then at some point you get Saul and David, and then Isaiah and Jonah. There's one big story in Scripture. There's one kind of redemptive arc that God is working on, and those stories are just instances. And so we started in the spring, and we got all the way through Joshua. So we'll be picking up with Judges. But what we're trying to do is see what God is up to, big picture. God is the main character of Scripture, and so we're looking for with an eye for what God is up to. At the same time, we are reading 2 chapters at a time, like nonstop. Different students read different sections because we want to study the actual scripture. This is a great age. 7th to 10th grade is a wonderful time for students to begin to read the Bible on their own. Many of them already do who are in our youth ministry, but for those who are uncomfortable, this is a great way to begin to become comfortable with it. And we'll read with an eye for what is God up to? What are his actions revealing about his character? How are these stories in the Old Testament pointing to ultimately the redemption that Jesus brings us? So we want to do all of that on a Sunday morning. Some high level stuff, but then also some boots on the ground type of study as well. So that's for 7th to 10th graders. Meanwhile, juniors and seniors. Let me just start by saying, they're totally welcome to keep coming to the Harbor House. We're not trying to kick them out, but what statistics have time and time revealed again is that students who never really plug into any part of a church outside of youth ministry, for those students, there's a steep drop-off when they go off to college. There are not a lot who stay involved because they haven't really understood the full breadth and beauty of the entire church. So what we're trying to do is kind of get ahead of that and help students transition to knowing more adults, but also knowing more children. There are great opportunities to plug in some adult faith foundations, but also plug in maybe teaching or helping teach some children's faith foundations. And so we want to encourage that. Doesn't mean they can't ever come back to the Harbor House, but we want to encourage that. So parents, that's a great conversation to have with your students who are juniors and seniors. For some, you might land on, I want them to keep coming to the Harbor House on Sunday mornings. They need that kind of continual growth in learning the story of the Bible. But for others, they're probably ready to be plugging in with some adults, building some of those types of relationships, or maybe plugging in with the children. So that's kind of Faith Foundations. If you have questions about that, do let me know. Happy to answer them. One other thing that I wanted to mention just before I let you all go, youth ministry t-shirts are in. I'm actually wearing one color of it, but this is another color. Personally, I'm a little bit partial to this one. But they're both great looking shirts. They feel good. They're light. And we just basically want to get t-shirts that help us show off who we are. If you don't know what 242 is about, check out the link in the description. It's the link to buy the t-shirts, but it also gives a kind of a description of what 242 is. And that's of course relating to Acts 2:42, which I'll let you read. But do grab a shirt or two. There's enough for parents to be able to purchase some as well. Sizes range from small all the way to XXL. So go ahead, check the link in the description. And I should say, this is a great resource for parents to be reading, maybe alongside what students are reading on Sunday mornings, to kind of have those conversations. So look forward to seeing you all this Sunday though. Let me know if you have any questions.